Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. Look who I'm here with today.
Hi, it's Joey Bishop. That's who they really came to see.
It's
they
Joey.
Came to see Joey Bishop.
And today I'm here to interview Joey all about her career.
Exactly. Just like, give me a treat.
But Erin, I just wanted to start off by saying thank you so much for being here. I love you so much, and this is like an honor. And
I'm gonna cry. Don't make me cry. No.
This just makes me so happy.
So, wait, are you gonna make me pea soup?
Oh my God! Oh,
Can I tell this story?
Yeah, I feel so bad that I don't have any to repay you with tonight.
Okay, so here's the story. So not long after Taylor and I met, Joey Bishop sadly could not attend a trip to Chicago because we were staying with someone who was allergic. So I came over to drop off Joey for the weekend for her little weekend stay with Uncle Taylor, Uncle David, and her little sister June. And I noticed that Taylor has a tattoo of a windmill on his hand. And I go, oh my gosh, windmill. And it made me think of Solvang, which is this gorgeous, adorable little town, very Dutch town up in like wine country, a little bit north of Los Angeles. So we were sharing our mutual love for Solvang. And I jokingly said, you know, it's the home of the split pea soup. And legit, no lie, he ran into his cabinet and gave me a can of the split pea soup from this restaurant because he's obsessed with it and he loves it and eats it all the time. Yeah. And then the next like 4 times that I saw you, you kept being like, have you eaten the soup yet? Yeah. And I finally ate the soup. It was terrible. It was awful.
And that'll do it. Thank you so much, Erin, for being here on my channel today. I really appreciate it.
But
you know what? Okay.
I don't think that I prepared it. Like you have to, like you did a whole thing.
I put it in the microwave and stirred it because I can't cook.
No, but you put stuff in it.
I put cheese.
Yeah.
Tapatio.
Yeah.
And oyster. You didn't have crackers.
I didn't have oyster crackers.
Yeah, she texted me. You were like, "Oh, can I eat it without crackers?" And I was like, "I wouldn't recommend it."
Was also like the consistency of like mashed potatoes, but green like, pea.
Well, it's green, and then it's like chunky, so it's like Shrek's like sludge.
Yeah, not for me, but I love you that you. I love that you're so enthusiastic that you actually have cans at the ready for anyone who mentions it. It's hilarious.
I am going to get a bouquet of them and present them to you. I should. We gotta just come back tomorrow night and I'll be prepared. Well, I am thrilled because Erin has not heard these questions yet, you guys.
I haven't. I know.
And I'm gonna blow her mind with my knowledge of your career. And the only things I had to look up were release dates, like years, because I can't do math.
Me neither.
And then I had to look up character names because those are very hard for me to remember, even for like, Shrek. So, are you ready for this?
I don't know. We're
gonna start off very.
I'm
easy.
on my second glass of wine, thanks to David. So
I'm on my first. I gotta catch up.
Here we go.
Do you remember the first movie you ever saw in theaters?
Okay, I don't. It probably was not the first movie that I ever saw in theaters, but my first memory of seeing a movie in a theater was Sleeping with the Enemy with Julia Roberts, and I was with my parents, and there was that awkward moment where there was a sex scene and you're with your parents and you're just like, oh God, this is awful. So I do remember that. That was one movie going experience that I had that I remember. And then I also remember going on a first date with a guy and we went to see Summer of Sam. And I remember watching it and going, oh my God, that tall, skinny dude is going to be a massive star. And it was Adrian Brody, who obviously became a massive star. And I loved the movie. And we walked out and my date said, oh, I didn't get any of that. And I never dated him again.
Was his name Sam?
No, I think if his name was Sam, he would have probably enjoyed it because I dated a lot of narcissists. But no, I was just like, if you don't appreciate the good art, then we're done here. Yeah. Like, I can't date you again. So,
yeah. We're off to a good start.
Are we?
I think so. So.
Okay.
It's gonna increase in difficulty, though.
Oh, okay. Because that's the difficult. I mean, people in the entertainment industry, people expect you to know what they're like, I had this moment when I was 5 and I saw this. I don't know. I didn't have that.
How and when did you know you wanted to pursue a career in acting?
Oh That's actually a kind of a difficult question because, like, I will say, how did I know that I loved doing this? I probably could go back to, I was in first grade. We were living in Seoul, Korea. My dad was in the Air Force. And we were doing an Easter play. And I played the villain, which... No. You're not prepared for what I'm about to say. The villain was the chicken whose eggs got stolen by the Easter Bunny. And I was like, hey... give me my fucking eggs back. And the Easter Bunny's like, no, the children. And I was like, those are my babies. And he's like, but the children need to eat your babies. And I'm like, no, give me my fucking... So I had, like, my mom made me this little chicken outfit. And I think it was a rooster, actually. Now that I'm thinking, I think she made me a rooster outfit, but it was supposed to be a chicken. And then my dad cut these little wings out for wood and strapped them. And so I was the chicken. And then the Air Force News Channel... came and interviewed me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm a fucking star. Like, I thought I was like the big thing. So I still remember the joy that I had, and I always loved doing theater. I don't think that I realized that I could really do this and wanted to really do this until my first big guest star. Which was on a show called Cold Case, which unlike CSI, where CSI, if you're like in a lot of these shows, if you're the dead body, you get paid to be a dead body for a day, but you know, you don't have any life. Cold Case was an amazing show where the cold case, they actually showed flashbacks while the people were trying to solve the murder. And I played a famous pinup model that had been murdered. And so it's like a movie within a show. And it was the first time, like, I'd done a co-star here and there, but it was the first time that I woke up really early, went to set on the studio lot, which was really exciting, and then worked all day, went to sleep, and then woke up and went to set again the next day. I'd never had that experience. I'd just gone, worked a little bit, and then come home, and then, you know, back to waiting tables or whatever. So that I think that when I got to go to sleep that night, and wake up and do it all over again the next morning, it made me see what that life could look like. And I realized during shooting that episode of Cold Case, which was entitled Pinup Girl, directed by Chris Fishman, that was the episode that made me go, this is all I want to do for the rest of my life. I just want to wake up and I want to go to set.
That's so cool.
It was really wonderful. I love that episode. Like, it has a really special
I'm going to
place
have to add it to my watch list because I love Cold Case. I love that kind of stuff.
Well, if you can't find it, I have it on DVD. So if you have any capacity to play a DVD player, then Robert Meyer Burnett has like 18 DVD players he'll loan you.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of Rob, this next question is specifically for him.
Oh, Lord. Yes, I would love to go back to being a redhead, and... I know that you liked me more when I was a redhead, and I have no doubt that you've had lots of special time by yourself watching me as a redhead. Sorry. I love Rob. I like to just needle him a little bit.
You were in Star Trek Enterprise. It's not funny, but like now I can't continue this.
Well, I know what I know the rest of this story.
No. This is a very clean question. What was the experience of working on a Star Trek show like?
Oh.
There we go.
Okay.
But you could also say who you played because I love it.
So the role would be referred to today as sex worker number 1, but at the time it was referred to as prostitute number 1. And I will say, you know, there was actually Brandon Braga, who was the showrunner, and became a friend of mine. He's a wonderful person. He gave me my first job in television, and he was actually at my wedding, and my dad gave the father of the bride's speech, he actually acknowledged, like, Brandon Braga, who gave our daughter her first job in television. It was a wonderful experience. It was, I mean, at that point, I think the show was on, like, its 4th or 5th, 6th season, I don't know. I mean, it had been running for a while, and then, of course, a lot of the crew had been from the previous Star Trek. It was clear to me then that it was just a well-oiled machine. They knew exactly what they were doing. I didn't want to leave. I mean, my scene was very short. I mean, I walk up to the car and I go, "You looking for a date, honey?" And then the guy in the car, Leland Orser, who I actually ran into at an Equinox. I was like on the treadmill, and I was like, Leland! And he goes, yeah. And I go, I played prostitute number 1 in a Star Trek Enterprise episode that you were guest starring on. And he was like, cool story, bro. No, he was very nice about it. He was very nice. But I walk up and I go, you looking for a date, honey? And he goes, maybe with your friend. Because she actually had the blood type that the Klingons needed to manipulate. Blah, blah. Sorry. And I go, you don't know what you're missing. And the episode happened to air like around Thanksgiving. So we were all at my aunt's house in South Louisiana. Everybody gathered around the kitchen TV, which is like this 13-inch television. Like there's a big screen in the living room, but like little screen.
Yeah.
We all gathered around, and then to watch my 2 lines as
but that's so
prostitute
exciting.
number 1.
Oh my god!
And then I go, you don't know what you're missing. And then it was like, ah! And it was like that was a big deal, you know. I mean, it was my first time getting a network show like on my resume, and I was really proud of that. I beat out a lot of people to get that role, and I got paid to be an actor, and on an iconic show that will that you say the name Star Trek, and everybody knows about what that is. So it was really cool, and I had a wonderful experience. And thank you again, Brandon Braga, for giving me that opportunity.
That's such a sweet story.
I mean, you know, like
yeah, that's really sweet. All right, leveling up a little bit. I know. I had to Google this because I didn't know the year, but in 2006, I could make up the years. Would you know if I made up the years?
No.
In 69. No, not that you're old. No, I was just going to say because, okay. Anyways, you played Patra on the TV show Charmed. Do you have a favorite memory from that set?
Brandon Braga also visited me on that set because his office was on the studio lot, and Terry Metalis, who Rob Meyer Burnett is really good friends with, who is now the showrunner of 18,000 shows, very successful. Terry Metalis, he was Brandon's assistant at the time, and Terry, oh gosh, what was one of my favorite memories? I mean, I still have photos from that, you know. I will say this. One of my favorite memories was actually meeting Rose McGowan in the makeup truck because weirdly enough, we had the same doctor.
Oh my gosh.
It was so crazy. And she was like, and she walked in the makeup truck and she goes, so I ran into my doctor at the Chateau Marmont last night, and he told me that you were playing my demonic alter ego.
Oh my gosh.
On this episode of Charmed, and he said to tell you hi. So she was so awesome and so wonderful and loving and kind, and I've seen Rose many times since then, and she has always been so wonderful and open and generous. But there was one moment that... because at the time I had dark hair and we very much favored each other. That's one of the reasons I was cast as her demonic alter ego, and like she would morph into me and I would morph into her, and I threw fireballs. It was great fun. And then ultimately I got trapped with the other 2, you know, actors who were playing the demonic alter egos of Holly Marie Combs and Alyssa Milano. We all got trapped in a dollhouse, and then the sisters blew up the dollhouse and we were no more. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Sorry. But there was this really great moment where Rose and I were about to morph into one another. And we're standing there, and she was looking at me, and she said, do people ever tell you that, like, you kind of look like me? And I said, yeah, actually all the time. And then I go, do people ever tell you look like me? And she just goes, no. I was like, obviously.
That is so
obviously,
funny.
Rose.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I had a great time working on
this
Charmed.
seems like such a fun environment, fun set, fun show.
It was really cool. It was really cool, and just working in a cave. But I do remember I learned about hitting your mark because I kept not hitting my mark, and then I won't say, I don't know who it was. Somebody in the camera department was just like,
Sam.
Yeah. That guy that I left at the movie theater, he's like, this dumb bitch.
Oh, boy.
I know.
All right. In 2009.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Okay.
The movie Bitch Slap was released.
Yes, it was.
What was your favorite scene to film in this movie that you starred in?
Impossible.
Really?
It was... Bitch Slap was such a cool experience. The writers of the movie, who I'm still very dear friends with, Eric Grundeman and Rick Jacobson. I just saw Eric Grundeman at an art gallery opening for our friend Arnie Svensson recently.
Oh, that's cool.
And the last time that Rick Jacobson was in town from New Zealand, I hung out with him. Mm-hmm. And America Olivo is like a really good friend of mine, and I was at Julia Voss' wedding. I mean, like, America Olivo actually introduced me. She plays Camaro in the movie. She introduced me and my husband, and she sang at our wedding. She actually trained in opera at Juilliard, and so she sang Ave Maria, and yeah, and then she starred in Bitch Slap. So there you go. Oh gosh, what was my favorite scene? I will say one memorable scene was the water fight scene, because we're just supposed to be like dousing each other with water, and it's very like in that scene in Zoolander where they're having the water fight with the gasoline. Yeah. It's supposed to be that, like, it's making fun of the water fight, the trope scene. And so they trucked in this massive vat of water, because we were shooting out in Lancaster in the middle of the desert. There's no water source. We couldn't just go over to a fountain, or a water, what's that called?
Spout? No.
Spout?
I don't know.
What it's called when what's in the sink?
Water.
You turn the
dishes.
Spigot? Am I both of our brains just turned off. Anyway, there was no water source in the desert.
Okay.
So they had to truck in this huge vat of water, and then they had PAs just running back and forth from the water vat to where we were shooting in this in this little plot of the desert, and because we needed to just continue, they were going to edit it all together in this montage. All we did was we kept just like running off off camera, grabbing a bucket, and then running back on camera and dumping the bucket on the other, and the water was freezing, and so we'd be like, run, oh fuck this shit, but we done whoosh, and then we're, oh god damn, I'm so done with this shit. I mean, so that was one of the scenes that was it was a very challenging movie to shoot. I mean, we dealt with a lot of the elements every single meal that we ate. Crafty was wonderful. I'm thinking, I don't know, we just ate a lot of sand because it was just a lot of sand. Yeah, but it was great. A wonderful experience. Still friends with all the people involved.
Oh, that's great.
Well, most of them, the cool ones.
Well, on the subject of Bitch Slap, how did your parents react when you told them you were I don't have this in my notes. I'm just thinking of this right now. How did your parents react when you said, "Hey, I'm starring in the movie. By the way, it's called Bitch Slap"? Like, did they have any reaction to that?
I don't remember, but I do remember my parents' reaction when I told them that I was playing prostitute number 1 on Star Trek Enterprise. There was dead silence, and you have to keep in mind, like, my parents are they live in Texas. My dad is career military. My mom is a super Catholic. Like, they're very conservative. We know how they vote, and there was silence. And then my dad said a quote that if I ever win any award, I will say, my dad said, "You know what? That Julia Roberts played a prostitute, and she's done just fine."
Aw, that's sweet.
I mean, like, could you die?
That's really sweet.
It's like, who are you guys? You're the best.
Yeah.
You're the best.
All right. We have to talk about Spartacus. On the show, you played Spartacus's wife, Sura. Do you have a favorite memory from working on that show?
God, again, just so many. I mean, any moment with Andy. Like, I mean, Andy, I had just gotten out of an abusive relationship right before I started that show. And I was in a really bad place emotionally, and didn't really have any sense of self or value. And the relationship of Sura and Spartacus was so unique and special because it existed outside of the story. You know, the story was moving forward in a linear fashion, and Sura was really just, you know, other than the impetus in the initial episode, everything happened kind of like in his fantasy and his flashbacks, and so there was this really great friendship that we were able to forge that existed outside of that. You know, and then in the process, I also forged really beautiful friendships with, you know, like Jai Courtney, me, Jai, and Andy actually went on a weekend adventure one weekend, and we went like skeet shooting and went to this amusement park, and we had like tons of fun together. And I mean, there's lots of things to explore in New Zealand. Leslie Ann Brandt and I and Nick Tarabay went and did this like 9-hour spelunking adventure into like caving in the Waitomo caves. And I mean, Viva Bianca and I had a lot of adventures together. She played Alithia. I mean, there were just really some, it's hard to just, there's no way to pick one. It really was just this incredible moment in time. Oh, there was actually a moment. Okay. And this is also bringing up Star Trek again. It's all coming back.
Oh, yeah.
So we ended up going to the premiere of Star Trek the movie. And I remember Andy and I are standing there, and, you know, like there's, you know, a lot of people around or whatever. And, you know, yeah, obviously it was going to be a big movie. And because Carl Urban is from New Zealand, they had a big New Zealand premiere for him. And I remember Andy and I standing there, and one of the people like that was directing traffic was like, "Oh, move back! The stars are coming! The stars are coming!" And Andy just like looked at me, and I just started laughing, and I go, "Just wait. Next year, that's going to be you they're talking about. Just wait." And you know, so it was just a funny moment of how, like, you know, it like here they are, like they don't even realize that this guy, I mean, I'll take myself out of the equation for sure, but that they have the star of a show that's going to be wildly popular all over the globe, and they're like, move back, the stars are coming. It's like, okay, just everybody just calm down. It's not that deep.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. My next question is, you voiced Kat in the video game Infamous 2, and then the subsequent, that's a big word, subsequent. I came up with that on my, and I didn't invent the word, but like.
You didn't?
I came up with
I've never heard that word before. Never in my life.
Oh my gosh.
I think you invented that word. I'm pretty sure you did.
Subsequent DLC, Festival of Blood. How fun was it to voice a video game character, and what was that process like? Also,
Okay.
I have the game. I should have had
not.
it. Yeah, I do. I should have had it ready to go. Like, I should have had it and shown it. I know.
Well, you can maybe do a splice thing where you...
where I find it. It's either in there or it's in one of those racks, but I do, or it's in that.
Oh, so you don't even know where, you don't even know if you have it.
It's somewhere in this room.
I call bullshit.
Mike, I'll show you after.
So, there's a couple of things. Number one, Eric Layden, who, by the way, was brilliant as the gambling guy in Ozark. He's brilliant. If you watch Ozark, he was the guy, and he overdosed, or there's an overdose scene. It's you know what I'm talking about if you watch Ozark. I met Eric Layden, one of the kindest, most lovely, humble, beautiful humans I've ever met in Hollywood. I worked with him for one day, and then I would randomly see him out, and he'd always be like, "Erin, what's up? How's it going?" And I'm like, "How do you know who I am?" Like, just so lovely. But yes, I did wear the ping pong ball suit.
Oh, that's fun.
The ping pong, I was worried because, you know, a wetsuit, if you've ever worn one, not the most flattering look. Like, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what your body looks like. A wetsuit doesn't look good on anybody. Yeah. The ping pong balls, they sort of distract the eye. So the addition, so I have to say, if I ever get a wetsuit, I'll probably just put ping pong balls on it just to, you know, help with the aesthetic. Although I will say this, I'm going to totally blow up my own spot here. I did another video game, and because I'd done the Infamous 2 video game, and they just did like the head and the body, they didn't do anything on the face. The next time I had a video game, I got in a little zhuzhing. Just a little zhuzhing, you know, little boop, 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 boop. And, you know, I had a little Botox.
Oh my God.
Sorry. You know, hey, it is what it is. So, and I'd gotten it done, and then I got the job, and then, like, the next day I went to shoot. And then they start putting all these little mini ping pong balls all over my face. And I went, oh, this is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. And so they were like, okay, now we need you to go through these 18 different facial expressions.
Oh, my God.
And they were like, okay, we need you to frown, like, furrow your brow. And I was like, and they're like, furrow your brow. And I was like, I am.
Oh my gosh.
And they go, okay, now we need you to act like really, really happy, like raise your eyebrows. And I was like, and they go, no, raise your eyebrows. I was like, and I could not move my entire face. And they called the casting director, Ivy Eisenberg, who has cast me in numerous things. And she was like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought it was just my body. I won't ever do Botox again. And I never have.
We should have gotten wetsuits for this interview and gotten in a pool of pea soup and done the interview in wetsuits in a vat of pea soup.
As long as I don't have to eat it, I'm fine sitting in it.
We have to eat our way out.
Oh,
oh my gosh.
I will die. I will die. Death by pea soup.
Sponsor me, pea soup. In the TV series The Astronaut Wives Club, you played Marge Slayton. What year did this show take place? Because I'm not good at math. I could not figure
1963.
it. Thank you. I told David, I was like, it's 1960 and then...
1963. It was the year of the first space launch.
See, I knew that. I was making sure you knew that.
Thank you for keeping me honest.
Yes. And what was it like having to make the changes to be in a period piece? Like, did you have to do anything, like no phones on set? Did you have to do anything different? You know what I mean? Like, because you can't have your phone, like, in your pocket in a show that takes place in the 60s. You know what I mean? Like, were there any things you had to, like, keep in mind that you wouldn't normally think about on a show you're filming that takes place today?
Well, first of all, women's clothing in the 1960s didn't really have a lot of pockets to begin with. It was only recently that people discovered that women actually need pockets. So they didn't give us pockets back in the 60s. Since my first television role was in 1969, as you pointed out earlier. You know what? It's so funny, like, you're bringing up all my favorite jobs. Astronaut Wives Club was one of my... First of all, Stephanie Savage, who also was the creator of Gossip Girl and Carrie Diary. I mean, she's done a million different projects. She was the showrunner for the show, and she was on set. We shot in New Orleans, which was also awesome because we all got to relocate to New Orleans. And it was a standalone... I think we did 10 episodes. Yeah, 10 episode, beginning, middle, and end. There was never supposed to be more than one season. It was always just like, we're going to do a limited series event, is what they called it. And we got to go, and it was like going to summer camp. You know, it was like my dear friends who I became very good friends with, Joanna Garcia Swisher and Odette Annable, and I mean, like the whole Zoe Boyle and Yvonne Strahovski and Azure Parsons. I mean, like all these different actresses, like we all got together and did this show and had the best time. We just hung out in New Orleans. We went on swamp tours together. I arranged that.
You went on a swamp tour without me?
I arranged it, actually, because I was like, you ain't coming to my hood without experiencing what I got to offer. I mean, I was born in Lafayette, Louisiana. You're not going to come here. Dominique McGilligut, you know, I mean, she's from Ireland, and I was like, you've never seen a gator. Come on, girl. Get on this swamp tour. So, so we had a really glorious time. I loved the costumes, and oh my God, okay, I'm blanking on the name of the costume designer. Eric, fuck, shit. He's so good. Eric.
I can Google it.
Can you Google it? Can you go to IMDb? Because he also did Gossip Girl. He did all the wardrobe for Gossip Girl. He's like a legend.
Fun.
Yes, he's a legend in this industry, and I'm a glass and a half wine deep, and I have a toddler, so I don't drink very often, so I'm...
my channel knows me as One Take Taylor. because like normally people would edit this out and we would know like every date. We would know where water comes from or whatever the hell we were trying to figure out earlier. Eric, D-A-M-A-N.
Eric Damon. Yes, Eric Damon is a legend. And what's also really special and beautiful is that my grandmother on my mom's side, she saved all of her costume jewelry, and I brought it, and Eric coordinated my grandmother's costume jewelry with some of my... I loved that.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I was really lucky because my husband, who played Deke Slayton, is also like someone who is a dear friend of mine, and he was just so magical. Like the scenes that we had together, it's just, I mean, it was a gorgeous experience.
That's such a cool story.
Yeah, I loved it.
All right. In the Flash.
Kenneth Mitchell, by the way. I just realized I didn't even say his name. Duh. Yes. So Kenneth Mitchell was my husband. He was also on Star Trek. He played a Klingon.
Gosh, wow.
He was in the latest show. One of them. He played like King of the Klingons or something. And he actually speaks Klingon now.
Can you speak Klingon?
I don't know. Sorry.
All right. In the series The Flash, you played Block.
I played Block.
What was it like working on a superhero property? Was this your first? I believe it was, right? Your first superhero.
I think so. Yeah. It was really cool. I mean, what was great about working on The Flash is actually seeing everybody, Grant Gustin working with him, and just seeing everybody, in their costumes and feeling the excitement and the energy that everybody knew, hey, we're doing a show that has a strong following. And by this point, I forget what season it was, but it was later. It wasn't one of the earlier seasons. So again, same thing back with Star Trek Enterprise. It was a well-oiled machine. It was a family. It was really wonderful to just jump into that. It also shot up in Vancouver, which is wonderful. It was my first time shooting in Vancouver, which was gorgeous. And yeah, I had a really good experience on that. I also realized that when I had to throw the blocks, they actually taught me how to throw them, because it's hard to know how you're supposed, because you don't know if you're just supposed to go right, and it just shoots out of your hand, or if you're supposed to wind it up like a baseball and just actually give it a throw. I will say that my stunt double on that show, she had been in Cirque du Soleil.
Oh wow!
Thank God, because when I could not watch her do the stunt. I'm supposed to be thrown backwards, and it was so terrifying watching her do the stunt that on TV looks like it's me, that I couldn't even watch it. I mean, she was so good. Yeah, so God bless the stunt team. They make everybody look like magic.
Oh, that's really cool. All right, so in 2021, that's already 2 years ago. That blows my mind.
I'm like, I know, I was literally about to go, well, wait a minute, so this is in the future?
The movie King Richard, starring Will Smith, was released. First of all, that movie's amazing. Your scene, I loved it. So I saw it in theaters, and it was like still pandemic-ish when that movie was released, but I saw it in theaters. I wore my mask. I saw it in the theater. And then when it was streaming on, I think it was on HBO Max.
And every airplane ride that anyone ever took.
I immediately went straight to your scene again to watch it. I was like, we had not met at the point, but I was like so proud of you. I know, isn't that weird to think?
My
I was like, I'm so proud of Erin.
Wait, we had not met in 2021? I don't believe that.
I know, I don't believe it either.
That's
think
weird.
We met in 2022. I know. It feels like it's been longer.
That was last year.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. What was it like filming during COVID though? Because filming took place during that.
You know what? I'm so glad you asked that, because I remember having this conversation with some of the actresses who were playing the young girls, and I said, when you are, they were like 16, whatever, like, young, and I said, when you're my age, which I know at 16 seems very, very, very far away, I said, when you're my age, you're going to have people your age say, what was it like shooting during COVID? Yeah. And now here we are.
2 whole years later.
2 whole years later. I know. What was it like shooting during... No, it was actually very strange, because normally, pre-COVID, when the van would come to, like, if the set is far away from base camp, and base camp is where everybody parks their cars, is where the hair and makeup trucks are, and then the location is, you know, sometimes right at base camp, but sometimes it's far away. Normally, you just pile up. It's a 17-passenger van, and you try to squeeze, like, you know, 20 in if you can. This, you could only fit 2 people max in the van. So they had so many vans, and it's really just you and maybe one other person, and then the driver, and there's a screen up, and then the entrance to the stage, you couldn't, there was an entrance, and then the other door was the exit, but you couldn't go in any outdoors, and then there was no food or drink on set. Now, normally when you're on a set, people are snacking, like just nonstop snacking. You couldn't even have a bottle of water on the set. Like, you could have nothing, because if you were to ingest anything, that meant you had to take your mask off in order to ingest it. So there was somebody positioned at every door on all of these sets, making sure you didn't even bring in a bottle of water. That was another thing. Crafty, it used to be just like a grazing table. You go up, you pick whatever you want, and then now it was like, the Crafty was behind plexiglass. You had to go up. You had to order, like, I'll have 5,
5
Hershey's
cans of pea soup.
Yeah, 5 cans of pea soup and a barf bag, please. Thank you. Sorry, not that bad. This, like, pea soup company is gonna come haunt me. I know. You'd be like, I want, like, 5 Hershey Kisses and a bag and a bag of potato chips or whatever. Whatever it was, you had to go and request it, and so it was just a new way of it was a new way of doing things. And I think some of those things are probably going to stay. Like, I'm sure the craft service budget dropped dramatically when people actually had to ask for what they wanted instead of just shoveling their faces full of chocolates.
Free for all.
Exactly. But yeah, it was very, and then also they would do this thing where they're like, you had to wear your mask to set, which I'm sure the makeup team loathed, because that's the thing, is you do this perfect face of makeup, and then somebody goes and slaps a mask on top of it, and then there's the whole thing. So everybody, we would rehearse with the masks on, and then they go, okay, rolling, masks off, and then all the actors would take their masks off and shove them in a pocket, and then they would do the scene. And they yell, the director would yell cut, and they go, masks on, and then all the actors would take their masks out and put their masks back on.
Dang.
So it was just like, it was just weird. But it was also kind of cool, because I felt very confident this is a moment in time that will not last forever. And I'm so thankful that I have a job during this time. I'm so thankful that I get to see what this experience is like, because most actors, let's be honest, I mean, there weren't a lot of jobs happening for anybody. I was very lucky. And my husband also was very lucky, because he was in that movie too. Yep. He plays the dad who's like, hey, it was out. And he's like getting her daughter to cheat against Venus Williams. So yeah. White male privilege and Karen. That was
oh gosh. All right, this next question might be my favorite.
Uh-oh.
No, it's good. From Dark House to Night of the Wolf. You've been in some horror films.
I have been in some horror films.
Do you enjoy horror movies, and do you get scared when you watch the horror films that you've been in? Like, have you been to a premiere or a screening of a horror film that you've been in, but then you forgot about a certain jump scare, or you haven't seen a scene that you're not in and it scares you?
I don't think I've ever been to a premiere because all the horror films that I've done have been like, little indie films that haven't really had like premieres. I saw Dark House. I don't know if I ever saw Night of the Wolf. But that was with Ethan Embry. We shot it in Woodstock.
Ooh, that's fun.
And I had a great experience. I just didn't know where I could ever see it. And I think Tina Louise was in there. She played Ginger on Gilligan's Island.
Oh,
I know she would literally
gosh.
slit my throat if she heard me say that, because she also was on Broadway. I mean, she's an iconic actress, and she also did Gilligan's Island. That literally was the only reason I did the movie. My agent called me and he goes, So we got this offer for this movie, and I looked it up, and I saw that Tina Louise was attached, and I was like, yes, I'm in. He goes, you haven't even had time to read this. I go, I don't care. I don't care. I want to do a movie with Tina Louise. I'm obsessed with her. She's amazing, and she did not disappoint. She was just a goddess in every way that I could have possibly imagined. So do I get scared? I don't know if, I don't remember being scared at Dark House, because Dark House was also just really fun.
Yeah.
You know, it was more like camp fun than it was scary. But I do get very scared, as you know, at scary movies.
I hope you get some more horror projects soon.
I hope so, too. I really enjoy horror movies. They're fun.
Yeah, I'm currently pitching myself to be Tigger in the next Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie.
I think that you actually have a shot at getting that. And if you are in it, like, let me know, because I would love to be in the next Winnie the Pooh movie.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm gonna save this to the very end, but I'll continue that thought at the very end of this.
I would love to be in a horror movie.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Out of all the projects you've been a part of, do you have a favorite, or is there one that you're like most proud of? Either one.
You know what? This is actually going to be a short answer because we've already talked about it. It's Cold Case.
Aw.
When I think of Rita Flynn. And if you watch my reel, which is it's pinned on my Instagram, it's that moment where I go, you know, when I take these pictures, you know, I feel proud. That was the role that made me go, oh my God, this is all I ever want to do. Oh. So it's hard for me not to think back and go, okay, this is it. And then on stage, it was when I played Lady M in the Scottish play. Ooh. Macbeth. I think I can say that here because this is in a theater. Yeah. Normally, so little theater lore. If you say the word Macbeth in a theater, it is bad luck. So the only way to reverse the bad luck is if you spin 3 times in the counterclockwise direction. But that's only if you do it in a theater. So my favorite theater role I've ever played was as Lady M in Macbeth, Lady Macbeth. And I hope that I get to play it again.
Oh, I really hope. I'll be there opening night. Which director...
Well, tickets are sold out, sorry.
Well, good thing I know the lead and I can get myself on that list. All right. Which director out there would you like to work with next that you haven't worked with? Is there someone right now?
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm sorry I had to ask.
Well, I mean, my ultimate, like, the dream that I have, I've always wanted to work with Guillermo del Toro because he's such a visionary.
Oh my God, he's working on Frankenstein right now, and if we could get you cast as Bride of Frankenstein, please. Oh my God, I could totally see it. I could be Igor.
Okay, so all I think about in Igor is young Frankenstein when he's like, ain't got no body, ain't got no body.
That's one of David's favorite movies.
Really? Oh my God, I love it. I've seen Young Frankenstein so many times, and nobody got me.
Yeah. Oh.
So yes, Guillermo del Toro is just, I mean, has always. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of directors on this list, but I'm gonna keep it very short and just say Guillermo del Toro and Sarah Paulson. I heard her interview on the Script Notes podcast. Okay. And the way that she talked about her experience when she was filming Women Talking, it just sounded... She just sounds like a director. I mean, first of all, visually, I think that she's brilliant as a director. I love the way her mind works, and I think just being on a set with her and being able to observe the way that she works would be so fascinating, and I have an immense amount of respect for her. So I would say I'm going to keep it a very short list, even though I have a very long list, of course. I'm going to keep it short for their purposes and say Guillermo del Toro and Sarah Paulson.
Ooh, that's a good list. Oh, that's fun. All right. We have 2 more questions. What advice would you give to someone who is looking to start acting?
Well, gosh.
Oh, June.
I mean, the business has changed so much since when I started. My advice used to be just come to LA because you couldn't really get started unless
Right.
you were in one of the hubs. And now everything has changed. It doesn't matter where you are. You can really be anywhere because everything is self-tape. I don't even really know anymore how people get started. I think I'm the wrong person to ask how someone could get started. But I'm going to give you the opposite of what most people say, which is, a lot of people are like, go for your dream and da-da-da and shoot for the moon and blah, blah. I'm a little bit more pessimistic. And I say, you know what? Sure. Give it a shot. But if there's anything else that you want to do, that you could do, that you feel like you would be as emotionally fulfilled by doing, that also will pay your bills, go do that. Do that. There's no shame in that. Right now, if you want to be famous, it's more easy than ever. Get a TikTok account, like do some videos, like it's real easy to become famous now. So if that's what you want to do, I have no judgment. Just go do that. If you want to be an actor, that's a different thing. And being an actor means committing to a lifetime of financial insecurity. There have been years where I have made more money than I could spend. Unfortunately, a lot of that money, goes to agents, managers, lawyers, and then coming with being on a show, publicists, and makeup artists, and hair artists, and stylists, like all the stuff that comes along with it. And then there's also the fact that, that 1 year that you make a lot of money, well, guess what? All those years you didn't, you accrued a lot of credit card debt. So you're paying off all that. And then next year, your show got canceled. Guess what that means? You don't have a big nest egg. Gotta keep it is not a lifestyle that I think most people really would be okay with. Most people like to know, I'm going to make this amount of money per month. And, you don't know. Like, there are some months that you make a lot of money. And there are some months that you don't really make a lot of money at all. And so you got to figure out how to budget that. And budgeting for actors, there's actually a class. There's a class that you can take for free via the Actors Fund. So if you go to the Actors Fund, budgeting nuts and bolts is a class that is taught by Miata. Miata, I'm sorry, I love you. I'm mispronouncing your name. I blame the wine. But the most amazing woman, actress herself, Miata, is teaching it. And there's a reason for that, because it's really hard to be a freelance artist and to make sure that all of your bills are paid. And so I think that's a big part of it, is going, all right, if I'm going to commit to this, I'm going to commit to a certain level of instability. There's also the instability of not knowing where you're going to be from 1 year to the next. I mean, when I got Spartacus, it was like, congratulations, you got the job. You need to be in New Zealand in 2 weeks. Okay, but what about my apartment? What about my cats? What about? Oh, you got Astronaut Wives Club? Congratulations, you're shooting in New Orleans. Oh, you got Detroit 187? Congratulations, you're shooting in Detroit. Oh, you got Made in Jersey? Congratulations, you're shooting in New York. That's all well and good and easy when Erin Cummings was a single person. Well, now I have a husband. I have a son.
Oh, the sweetest.
I have a little girl on the way. Oh, by the way, via surrogate. I'm not like... I know, I should probably say that.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? I'm glad you remember to say it.
I know. I had people that were like... Yes, not by choice, cancer. So, yes, like there's a lot of... like right now... at any minute, my husband, who is also an actor, my husband or I could get a job that shoots in Vancouver. And then all of a sudden, we're moving to Vancouver, So there's a lot of instability. So if you're someone who likes a very, if you like to know how much money you're going to make every month, and if you like to know, but I say if you're in your, if you want to pursue it, give it a shot. Go for it. Why not? Like, you only got one life. It's not a dress rehearsal. You get one shot to do it. But at the same time, for me, I have a degree in advertising, and I love advertising. Nothing gets me wetter than a well-placed billboard. Like, it's a thing. It really is a thing.
Rob's taking notes. Going to place a billboard outside her place. 6
words or less. That's the rule. But I wouldn't enjoy it as much as I do this, even with all the craziness and insecurity and the, just all the nuts stuff. I'm willing to put up with the crazy because I love ultimately what it brings me as an artist. And so, like, for me, there is no plan B anymore. Like, this is it. Like, I'm doing this, or, somebody, I don't know. I don't know what the other option is. There is no other option. It's just this.
Yeah.
And I love it. But that's what we do as artists, whether we're writers, directors, storytellers, influencers, content creators. I mean, we all just go, like, what do I want to do? And maybe there will be something that'll present itself to me that, like, who knows? I mean, maybe 2 years from now I decide to open a cat cafe, which actually sounds really great.
Oh my God, and we could play Puss in Boots, like, on loop.
I would have a flat screen that would be the one flat screen would be nothing but Puss in Boots, and the other flat screen would be nothing but Nature Channel.
Oh my God, Joel, Daniel, you heard it here first. Erin and I are opening a joint venture.
It's called Puss in Boots Cat Cafe.
Yes. Oh my God.
That could actually be some really good licensing.
Yeah.
Right there.
Look, Puss in Boots is right there. My friend J. Scott Campbell bought that for me when we went to go see it. Isn't that so cute?
I have 4 cats. I like nothing makes me happier than Puss in Boots. And Kitty Softpaws.
Oh,
I really love the political message that Kitty Softpaws explained when she explained that was actually a traumatic event. Because don't declaw your cats.
So my last question.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God.
I keep saying uh-oh.
Could you imagine it's like something like insane? Like a math equation or something?
Oh, well, I would just say I don't know how to do math.
I don't fucking know.
That's why I majored in finance. That's why I married a finance major.
Nancy Drew. Let me just tell you guys this quick little story before we get to talk about Nancy Drew. So David's mother, hello mom, Juliet, she was watching the show. She found out you were going to be on Nancy Drew. She loves you, by the way. I didn't even tell her.
I love David. I love David. He's so wonderful. You have a beautiful son who I just adore.
I didn't tell her you were coming over tonight. I totally should have. I know, I fucked up. I know.
She could be here right now.
No, she's in Arizona. I know.
She could fly here right now.
She binged watched the whole first 2 seasons and she was like texting me about it, and she's
Wait,
like,
you told her I wasn't in the first 3 seasons, right?
Right. She knows that she was binge watching it so that when you are on it, she knows she's all caught up. So she's all caught up. I know.
That.
And I think even David's sister Haley, hello Haley, if you're watching this as well.
Haley.
Was also binge watching it. Isn't that sweet? They like binge watch the whole series to get up to your season.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So
That's
Nancy
so
Drew.
Nice.
What can you tell us about Nancy Drew and that experience?
Okay, well, first of all, I have to give a big shout out to my friend Riley Smith because he is on the show. If you watch the show, you know he plays one of Nancy's dads, Nancy's biological father. And I also have to give a big shout out to Sandy Logan, who was the casting director, who also cast me in Dynasty. So Sandy Logan, like, totally was looking out for your girl. And also Stephanie Savage, who was the showrunner of Astronaut Wives Club and Gossip Girl. She's also her production company. She's not the showrunner,
right?
But her production company does it. There was a lot of love there, and I pulled out all the stops. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, you know what? Maybe my talent will get me this job, but if everybody else is pulling the Nepo baby card, I'm going to pull the only Nepo cards I know. And I'm not related to anybody, so I'm going to text Riley, I'm texting Stephanie, I'm texting Sandy. I was like, get me this job. And Riley and Stephanie both wrote glowing reviews to the producers of the show, and Sandy, of course, put in her good word. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Kennedy McMahon, who plays Nancy Drew, like what I loved about the moment that I met her, she was so lovely. She just said, "So I know this is like, kind of dorky, but I looked you up and I saw that you are classically trained, and so am I. And I was just wondering like what your favorite Shakespearean character was." And then of course we started talking about Macbeth, and she had played Lady M and I had played Lady Macbeth. Cool. And so it's like it was so wonderful to be able to meet this young actress who's starring on the namesake of the show. And I was fully expecting to be like, all right, I'm just going to roll in there as the guest star. I'm recurring. I'm playing the police chief this season. First year that they've had like a, female police chief. And I'm just going to like keep my head down and say my lines and hit my mark and, do my thing. They were so welcoming. And I see all these young kids, which... Also, I'm not going to lie. Like, we've talked off air about certain shows that star young people that are just douchebags. Like, you take, people in their 20s and you throw a lot of money and a lot of fame at them. And a lot of them are going to turn out to be assholes. And I'm not saying I judge them for it. It's just like, that's what happens. And then their show gets canceled and they get a dose of reality. And then they go, oh, wow, I should be nice. So, in this particular episode with Nancy Drew... everyone in the cast not only was so kind and loving, but they were genuinely curious about not just me, but other people. Like, they engaged in real conversations of, hey, so, what's your opinion on this? And, oh, that was really great what you did right there, and I really like that. There was no pretense. It was so wonderful. And the crew, at that point, it was season 4. And one of the great things about working on a show as a guest star... when you get into the later seasons is by season 4 they've really kind of gotten rid of all the assholes, at least in the crew. You can't really get rid of a lot of the assholes in the cast. Like, they're just there. But the crew, I mean, and Nancy Drew, I didn't meet any assholes in the cast or the crew. Everyone was lovely, and it honestly broke my heart when they announced that was going to be the last season. Because I was very excited about the possibilities of what could lay ahead for the next season, for season 5. I find it absolutely heartbreaking. And obviously, I get it. From the network's perspective, they just look at the bottom line. They look at the numbers. I don't blame them. They're business people. That's what their job is. And they don't know what's going on set. And also, they don't probably really care that Erin Cummings had a great experience on Nancy Drew. But I will say that if I have any opportunity in the future to work with anyone that was involved in Nancy Drew, I would jump at it and, don't tell my agents, probably take a pay cut, because it was like just really beautiful people. And at the end of the day, everybody, no matter how much money anybody has, everybody's always trying to make more money. I mean, look at Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Like, that's a perfect example. No matter how much money you have, you're always trying to make more money. Right. So, but ultimately, what do you want your day to be like? I want my day to be happy. I want to be around people that I like. I want to be around people that respect me and that I respect in return. I want to drive to work every day and go, wow, this is going to be really great. I'm excited to be here. And I want to leave work every day and go, okay, well, there's a few things we could do better next time, but overall, I feel good about where I am. And as an artist, you don't always get that opportunity. So, I really hope that for whatever lies ahead, Liza
Minnelli.
Whatever Liza Minnelli's, I hope it's good.
Oh. I think that's a quote. That's gonna be someone's tramp stamp tattoo. Whatever Liza
Minnelli's, I hope it's good.
If any of you get that tattooed,
yes,
please send us pictures.
Whatever Liza Minnelli's, I hope it's good.
Well, to wrap things up, you guys, this interview, honestly, I feel like has been years in the making.
Oh, yeah. Like, we've been friends for at least
forever.
10 years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe when you say 2022. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe it.
But, Erin, I have been, first of all, such a fan of your career. As you can tell, I only literally had to look up, and ask you how to pronounce a couple things and look up some years. I'm going to find you infamous, too. I think it's in that table. That table right there opens like this. I know, it's crazy.
Maybe we'll play it. I've never played it.
Oh, my God, that'd be so fun.
I'm not.
It'd be fun, though.
Okay, well, let's try.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for doing this with me. I am so super appreciative. And something I did tell you the last time I saw you, I think the last time I saw you when we got tacos on Taco Tuesday.
Love a Taco Tuesday.
Oh my God, we love Taco Tuesdays. Was that my New Year's resolution for 2023 is to get into acting. But I don't think I got to tell you because I was embarrassed. We were in a car with Rob and I think Jonathan. I didn't want to say it in front of everyone. But the reason why I want to get into acting is you. So I know. You're just like such an inspiration to me, and to do this with you is an honor, and I'm so appreciative. So thank you for taking the time to do this.
Well, I am so happy to be your Sherpa. I love that. I love that for you. I love that you are looking at doing that, and I also love that you are growing your channel.
Thank you.
And when I say that this guy is like the genuine real deal. I mean, my heart, it's like that scene in The Grinch That Stole Christmas where the heart grows so big that it pops open the little box.
Thank you.
I just adore you.
And I adore you, and I just love you so much.
And even though my bitchy dog hates your bitchy dog.
God, they're in different rooms right now. June's in the kitchen.
Poor June.
I think June's just like so excited.
She just wants to be friends, and Joey's just such a little...
Oh, Joey's asleep.
She's not asleep. She's plotting.
What's it like to sleep? I haven't slept in so long.
Oh, well, have another glass of
wine. I know,
wine.
we're gonna have another glass of wine and have some pea soup.
Jesus Christ.
If you're of drinking age, take a shot every time we mention pea soup. And Split Pea Anderson, if you're watching this, please sponsor me.
I mean, yeah, you actually should, because he's the one that's eating your soup.
I really am.
One person that's eating this Split Pea soup.
Go straight to my left thigh.
What's happening with your right thigh?
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this hour-long interview.
I mean, you should have booked it. You knew who you were getting. She's not concise. She's not concise.
I'm so appreciative of this, and this is so fun.
I'm so appreciative.
We should do videos more often. They don't have to be in-depth interviews, but we should do just like fun whatever every once in a while.
But I talk too much. So
no, you don't.
I don't know how to do succinct.
Yeah, they don't have to be. We could do a 24-hour.
Okay.
I don't know, Liza Minnell-a-thon.
We'll do a Liza Minnell-a-thon.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys soon. Bye.